वेंकटाद्रि समं स्थानं ब्रह्मांडे नास्ति किंचन वेंकटेशो समो देवो न भूतो न भविष्यति. Shri Venkateshaya Namaha. With the blessings of Shri Vidyaranya Pitha Swamiji and the blessings of my Guru Garu, Shri Sadguru K. Shivananda Murthy Garu. Namaskaram. It's a great honor and privilege to be here today. I am standing in front of all of you for what my ancestors have done 500 years ago. Before I start, I'd like to tell you a bit about myself. My family has been a great source of inspiration for me. My father, Raja Achyuta Deva Raya, was a very noble soul, a righteous man who never compromised on his principles and values in life. I have seen him participate in all the rituals of Hampi and Anegundi. He used to always say that we need to protect our culture, our monuments, our heritage, and he would meet a lot of people and historians to discuss what should be done. I used to always wonder as a kid what my father was doing. He used to be in the forefront in all the matters pertaining to Hampi. If any monument was vandalized, he would voice his opinion and it would pain him on a personal note. My family has always had the blessings of gurus. When I was a kid, the first guru that I remember was Kanchi Paramacharya. My father used to go to, I was actually studying in Pondicherry. So while going to Pondi, we used to go via Kanchi and have darshan of Paramacharya. So he has had a lot of influence also on my life. But on a personal level, Sri Shivananda Murthy Garu's teachings and his guidance have influenced in shaping my life. Today, whatever I am, it is because of his blessings. My Guru Garu, he had come to hospital for the very first time in 1998. And my father said that some guru has come and he was going to meet him. So I said, I'll come with you. I clearly remember seeing Guru Garu. He was sitting on the floor in the hotel. I did namaskaram and that's it. After that, I don't remember anything. He came home to Anagundi house and also to our hospital house. But I have no recollection of that. The next time I saw him was in 2001, June. He had invited our family to Hyderabad and he had honored my father. That was when I got to know a bit of my Guru Garu. Some used to consider him as a doctor. Some would treat him as an astrologer. Whatever Guruji said used to come true and all. So that was the first time I got to know a bit about him. The very same year, in November 2001, I had gone to Delhi to attend the wedding of my friend. And somehow somebody told me that Guruji had come to Delhi. So one morning I went. Guru Garu was doing his Nitya Puja. I was sitting there and just thinking what was happening in my life. I used to run an automation business, me and my friend, and unexpectedly he had died in a car accident a few months back. And my sister lives in the US and she was telling me, why don't you come to the US, you can work here. So I was in a dilemma. I was just thinking what has to be done. So after the puja, Guru Garu gave me the prasadam and he told me in Telugu, you will go to America. When I call you, you come back. So I was sort of surprised. How did he know? I didn't ask him anything. This was the first time he let me know in a very, sukshmavagi, what we say, that I am there for you. I have had innumerable experiences on a personal level, which I don't want to share, but then yes, I know that he is there for me and he will always be there for me, guiding me on the right path. So when he told me that I'll be going to America, so just the next month I had my interview, I went to the US Embassy. The guy standing in front of you, his wife was already in the US and The only question they asked him was, when were you married? And apparently he told the wrong date, one day. So he was denied the visa. I don't know what would have happened to him later on when his wife got to know that. And when it was my turn, they didn't ask me one question. He looked at me, he said, welcome to America. And I went there. I worked in a construction company, and I got to see a lot of construction, how Americans do the construction. Especially in Washington DC, there were few areas you could not construct any new building. It had to resemble the surrounding, the neighborhood. So this was something which struck me. And then a few years later, I had a chance to go to Philadelphia to see the Liberty Bell. I stood in the line for half an hour reading everything that was written. And when finally I went and stood in front of the Liberty Bell, I stood half an hour just to look at this. This was something like it stuck. We have so many monuments. Every village in India will have something more beautiful and much better than the Liberty Bell. But one thing you need to learn from the Americans is, whatever little history they have, they value it, they protect it, and they're proud of it. So this is something we need to learn. We have so many temples. We can go back 2000 years. We have so many manuscripts. Are we really worried about it? No. We need to learn to take care of our temples and our heritage. So later on, 2008, when my father passed away, that was when Guru Garu said, it's time for you to come back. And I came back. We do follow still a lot of traditions in Hampi and Anagundi. So I initially, because of my children's education, I was staying in hospital. I came back and restored my house in Anagundi. And now I stay in Anagundi itself, as all my 3 kids are in boarding right now. So seeing all this, now I am doing exactly what my father did. I want to dedicate my entire life for the protection of temples, monuments, culture and heritage. The importance of Vijayanagara cannot be understated in South Indian history. It was the bulwark which stopped the barbarian hordes and protected our culture and civilization. Not mere survival, but it helped in further flowering of art, culture, devotion, philosophy and science. It was the richest temple, it was the richest empire of the world in its heydays. I remember meeting an IAS officer in Chennai, and he was mentioning to me that Tamil Nadu alone has about 30,000 temples. Most of them were built prior to the Vijayanagara, but Nitya Puja was not being done. The Vijayanagara kings expanded these temples and donated lands and nearby villages so that Nitya Puja could be done. Recently, just this month, I was called to Manjuguni Venkateshwara temple, which is near Tirsi. This temple was built in the 9th century, and the Vijayanagara kings also donated lands and villages so that the pujas could be performed. For some reason, the nearby land was encroached, and the temple decided to buy back those lands. So they had to spend about a little more than 1.5 crores. So when the people got to know, within 45 days, all the money was collected, people donated, and then they wanted to give back these lands to the temple. So they decided to call me so that I could give it back. So I was really touched the way they did the homas, the pujas and all. I was very, very happy that we still follow this. The Vijayanagara kings resurrected the temples and revived Hindu communities, and this is the reason why temples and traditions survive in South India. Essentially, the empire being the savior of Sanatana Dharma in southern India. Unfortunately, most of the temples in its capital, Hampi, have been destroyed by Islamist invaders of Deccan Sultanate in 1565, post the Battle of Talikota. Temples are abodes of gods, where devas are invited to stay and receive worship from their bhaktas. Once consecrated, they remain there forever. Destruction of Murti or even the entire temple does not remove the Chaitanya from the place of worship. Agamas say that even if everything is destroyed, the Chaitanya remains suspended in the air of the place. The Devas stay forever there, awaiting their devotees. As a stopgap arrangement, in order to please the Devas and also get their blessings for our endeavor to restore and reconsecrate the temples in Hampi, we have started the Padmadala Puja to all the deities in the vicinity of Hampi from last year. The Tantri of Padmanabha Swami temple, Sri Satishan Nambudripad, invokes the Chaitanya of all Hindu deities in the area in the Padma drawn and offers puja to them once a year. The temples of Vijayanagara are more special even from a religious point of view, because this is the land of Kishkinda, and this is the only place in southern India which is blessed with one of the Pancha Sarovaras, the Pampa Sarovar. The Yantrodharaka Hanuman temple, it is believed that this is where Sri Rama met Hanuman for the very first time, and that's why Sri Vyasaraya, he built the first Hanuman temple. He went on to build about 732 other temples, but this is the very first one that he built. For me, Hampi is one of the most beautiful places. No matter in what mood I am, if I am in a very bad mood or something, once I go to Hampi, it changes my mood. I feel this because lot of great saints have stayed there. They have lived, they have done tapasya there. Saints like Vidyaranya, various Kalamukha Acharyas, Vyasaraya, Vadiraja, Vijendra Tirtha, Tatacharyas, Purandaradasa, Vallabhacharya. Most of the temples in Hampi are in disrepair and abandoned, but thankfully not encroached by others. The Devas have been waiting for 4.5 centuries now. Worship was restarted in few temples in the last century. Worship in some temples was started within a few years of Talikota once Anagundi was brought back under control. Despite a few more reversals, major one under Tippu, efforts have been made to revive worship. Many murtis were saved and reconsecrated in Virupaksha temple present. Since 1980, Badavilinga is being worshipped as per the orders of Kanchi Mahaswamiji. He had instructed my father to start the puja. He had told my father that you have to go to each and every house and ask for one mushti of rice, for which my father said, whatever the expense, I'll take care of it. Then Paramacharya, he clearly stated, the way Indira Gandhi goes to every house during election and asks for vote, I want you to do that. Go to each and every house and ask the people before they do the cooking in the house. Every day, one mushti of rice has to be taken out, kept aside. So once a week, a person goes, collects the rice, and then we give it to the pujari who is doing the puja over there. So this tradition is still being continued over there. Many major temples remain without worship as the murtis have been completely destroyed or desecrated. The Ganesha, Chandramaulishwara, Krishna, Narasimha, Hazararama, Pattabhirama, Vijaya Vithala of Purandaradasa, Prasanna Virupaksha, Hemakuta, Shiva temples. Purandaradasa's songs are famous all over, but his Ishtadeva, Vithala, is waiting for worship since 1565. Today, we are more than 1 billion Hindus worldwide. We are not dead. Our Devas await us. There is no reason why our temples should remain dead. They are not museums. Our Devatas are not mere objects of curiosity. As Bhaktas, we have a duty to worship them. Rama has been the very soul of Sanatana Dharma civilization in this nation since eons. Whatever be the sampradaya to which a person belongs, the ideal Rajya has always been Rama Rajya and Rama the ideal ruler. The Vijayanagara kings wanted to establish Ramarajya here, so they constructed the Hazara Rama temple at the center of the city. Now our objective is to revive worship in the temples of Hampi, starting with Hazara Rama. We need to reconstruct and restart worship. We are not under any foreign rule now. To let the temples remain in this shape now is not dharmic. Such revival of worship has happened in ASI monuments, protected monuments as well. The best example is Vellur Jalakanteshwara. A similar revival should be envisaged for all our temples. We have approached the government for permission to revive the temples. We are not asking for funds. Just let us take care of our temples and devas. I have a dream and have started working on it. Vijayanagara 2.0. Like in those days how Vijayanagara protected our Sanatana Dharma, now we have to work collectively to inspire our younger generation to take this forward and bring back those glorious days. What can we do in Hampi so that anyone who comes here should get inspired and feel proud to belong to such a great culture? Our rishis and our Vedas have shown us the path to reach the ultimate truth, and all we have to do is walk on it to reach our goal. We have to go back to our roots and understand as to why our ancestors stuck to tradition, culture, heritage, and did not move away. They had entire knowledge about the universe, astroscience, climate, flora and fauna, metallurgy. They had reached the ultimate heights on spirituality and were following their dharma. Dharma, as we all know, is not religion alone. Religion is a part of dharma. Following dharma will invoke people to lead the ultimate santrupta life. Please give me your input. I would like to hear from all of you who are genuinely interested in reviving our culture. Let us take a sankalpa that we will walk on the path of dharma and do our bit in revival of our great Bharata. Thank you. I'd like to thank the organizers for having invited me here.
Any questions? One or two questions we'll take. Meanwhile, I request volunteers to remove the chairs from the podium. Any questions?
I'll give you my contact details. And I live in Anegundi, next to Hampi. So if ever you come there, you can please come and meet me.
Thanks a lot for this opportunity. I have a question. So let's say, given that we are under a democratic state, right, and it's governed by the Constitution, and how do we propose to move ahead with, let's say, such revivals and all that? Because you will face resistances from the state itself in a lot of situations.
I know we will face a lot of resistance, but then I have already started working on this. We are talking to the right people, and whatever we do, we will do it in the right way. So that I can assure you. And I have this belief that yes, these temples will be revived and Nitya Puja will start. Thank you.
Thank you, His Majesty.
Thank you.